Everybody ready? All right, questions for Coach?
Coach, talk about Josh Hulsey, how he did in his return to safety.
I thought he did a good, solid job. It was a tough move for him. It was done during the week, and didn't have, one half of a practice and then another small, light practice. And he did pretty well. I thought all the guys out back played pretty well. And put a lot of pressure on him. We had to place a lot of man coverage to make sure we loaded the box on the quarterback, and I thought it really competed well.
Just overall, when you watched the tape, what'd you think? How you played?
It was good. There were some things on there that we got to clean up. We didn't play a real, I wouldn't say a real clean game from an assignment standpoint, or a lot of times it wasn't a busted assignment, maybe it wasn't played as well as it could be played, a little alignment here or there. But I looked, one time we had, I think 4 guys lined up in the secondary that did not play defense at Auburn last year. And, that's a tough job against a good football team in a tough environment. And so there were some mistakes, alignments and things that can be better, but I thought they really competed and had some production.
Up front?
Up front played pretty well. We're still concerned. We're not getting good pass rush, our 4-man rush. And we've got to look at who, and we've got to look at how, and keep trying to give those guys reps and develop the skill set to be able to do it. But we also got to get creative on some things to try to get pressure on the quarterback.
What about what Chris Frost has done on the blitz?
Yeah, he's the right place at the right time. I don't mean to say he didn't do a good job, but at the time, the call was he's the guy, and he did make a good move on the pass rush, and got around the end. On the one that he got credit for, one of the ones he got credit for, Anthony Swain was right there too, and did a good job on it. But Chris has got 2 of those, I think, this year. Casanova was one of our better outside pass rushers, and he's had some good ones, but has not had the production we hope he will have.
Anthony Swain, he played a good bit.
Yeah, he played 10 snaps and needs to play more. You get in the flow of a game like that sometime, and you get concerned with adjustments and things. And then our offense at key times had long drives, so it wasn't a fatigue issue with the first group. But then all of a sudden we'd get out there and we'd have a 7-play drive. And I really need to rotate him a little bit more. He's played pretty good when he's played, and I think he can play more snaps. He can give Casanova a break. Casanova and Frost also on special teams, and when you total it all up, and I think one of them played 70 plays the other night. That's too many. I think we can get Anthony Swain, some of those other guys involved in the rotation, and probably get them a few less plays, and I think they'll be more effective.
Ellis, how much is Rudy Ford taking steps forward in just a couple of games?
He continues to improve drastically, and I know, if y'all watch ball games, he just shows up. He catches your eye. You can see how explosive he is, how fast he closes on things. He's been a good tackler, been doing good coverage. He's got to still get real consistent with his eyes, make sure he's looking at the right things and playing the right reads. Had a pass thrown in the other day where he took a couple of false steps, was able to recover, almost made an unbelievable play, but he made a hard play out of an easy play just because of the experience level. But he's getting better, and we really got a lot of confidence in him right now.
At defensive end, you guys started Ello and I think Lambert, right, for that game?
I think they did get the start this week.
What about Gabe? Are we trying
and
to
y'all seen him. We play a lot of guys up there, and that's by design. But Rodney kind of does it as a practice reward. At times, he'll give him the first shot. But Gabe's still playing fine. They're all of them. I don't think any of them had a breakout game or a dominant game, but they're all playing well enough to deserve to play. And I think right now the rotation's been good. We need to get settled on who is going to be in there on our pass situation, because there are a lot of mistakes right now on twists. Got to get the same guys in the same place executing those things with more precision and more consistency.
What about just Trevon Reed? And we know he had the interception. How did he play overall in that game?
Good, played good. He had 3 big plays that were, obvious. He had an interception. He had a breakup on a double post, and made one other play on screen. But he played overall. He played very solid.
He says he finally feels comfortable having a role on this team. Moving back and forth. How impressed have you been with him over these last few months?
He's made steady progress, and I think now it's to a point we feel like we can play him as much as those starters, and that's important. I think he can rotate on that boundary corner, and having to move Holsey inside, we definitely needed him to step up and give Mincy some time. And now we'd have the ability to maybe put Mincy to the field, move him around, put him on better wide out, et cetera, get some matchups. but it's good to have some depth there now, starting to get some progress. I think Melvin's been pleased overall with his progress, and I think having those big plays in that game is going to help his confidence.
You gave Ruffin quite a few snaps at Kansas State. Just talk about the role he played and how you thought he did.
He played good. We played our 6 DB package quite a bit as the game flowed on. You know, we had Nick, we had Stephen Roberts, Trevon, and Moncrief all at that same time. As I said earlier, you know, none of them ever played defense here before this year. And but he got some reps, and Nick played really well. Coach Harbison says that quite often he can hear him now. He's making a lot of adjustments back there, talking and communicating. And really one of the more bright ones, picking up on things, getting us lined up.
Ellis, you guys have given up very, very little on the ground since the start with the second half of the first game. How gratifying is that to you, and how valuable is that to playing good defense?
Well, it's good. We're kind of an opposite of what we were last year. Last year we struggled with the run, controlling the box. Times didn't hold point well, got gapped out. And then on third down, we could get to the quarterback. A great edge guy. This year, we played really good against the run, especially inside. I think our front guys have really played physical. They've been good, and they're talented guys, and they should. But we haven't been able to find that pass rush. It's been kind of the opposite. But to know that we're a lot more solid against the run is good. And our linebackers have played more consistent than they did last year, fitting the run. So it's been a lot better. And we're going to see some teams down the road that can run it better. We know that. But hopefully we're improving in that area, and what we've accomplished the last couple of games is evidence that we are getting better in that area.
Ellis, what were you able to do defensively to limit the run? I mean, one quarter they had -3 rushing yards, I think, in the second, and then the second half was like 20-23. I mean, really held them down where they couldn't do much at all.
Yeah, we played, like I said, we played a lot of man coverage and had extra guys around the box. We really felt like the quarterback was the key to stopping the team. And the receiver's a great player. We thought he'd get a couple of his plays, and we'd have to live with it. I think our DBs did a super job on him. He still made some plays. He did a great job of kicking game too. But the key was the quarterback. We could not let him get started running the football by design or by scramble, and that was just a big focus on our attack. So as a result, we had a lot of folks around the box, and I'm sure that's what helped us stop the run.
When you say wasn't a clean game, but then you look at the stats and you guys were able to stop them the way you did, how do you weigh both of those and judging the entire defense? What do you tell the guys after?
What I'm saying is, like, fundamentally, technique, maybe alignment. As a linebacker, maybe lined up a little bit further over. Did we adjust exactly right to all formations? Sometimes we can still improve, like any college football team this time of year. So we're steadily making progress. We got some young players in some key roles. We're not a real experienced defense, but at least they've been in the system another year, so it's starting to help us in that respect. But they're improving not only by the physicality of it, they're improving at their assignments, their alignments, technique, their stances, just little things that make a football player better. We still need to improve in a lot of those areas.
Was this one of the better games overall, though? Do you think?
Statistically, it was. I mean, I think probably was. They were a challenge. We had some. Arkansas obviously knows how to run football. Our problems early in that game is we had a young player that was lined up wrong and fitting the run wrong. I thought once we got that adjusted, we played physical against a very physical team. San Jose was a different style. We had to adjust to that. But I thought Kansas State was overall the most complete team, and it was a tough environment to go over there and have to play. So, it'd be hard to say it was definitely the best game, but I think we played at a level that we had to against a really good opponent.
Ellis, what is Jermaine Wade's future looking like?
That's Gus's decision. He'd have to answer any questions about that.
So at this point, you're planning on Halsey being back there for the foreseeable future at safety?
He would be as long as the present situation.
Ellis, when it comes to some of the younger players, like we just haven't heard anything at all about Joe Turner. I know he was like a late addition to this last year's free class. Are you already expecting him to redshirt the entire year?
I don't know. This is kind of early to talk redshirt, but at this point in time, he hadn't broken into that best 4 yet. With some of the shifting going on back there, maybe it will surface, but at this point, it's not.
Is Louisiana Tech, the team's going to test your secondary probably more?
They have played 3 opponents that probably were better than. They had 5 turnovers the other day, or they'd won that ball game. They did not play well against Oklahoma in the opener, but Oklahoma's obviously a great team. As I watch them, I think they're capable of being very multiple. They got a good quarterback transfer from Iowa and got some very capable receivers, but then they can line up sometimes, they can play a little bit of power football with you. Probably just from the standpoint of what they're trying to do, they give you more variation from power to spread than anybody would play. You know, Arkansas was going to pound it, and that's who they are. San Jose was going to throw it around pretty good, and that's who they were. This group will get out in the empty, and the next time you look up there in the pro set and running power football. And, you know, it's going to be a challenge for players to adjust. You know, as the flow of the game goes, they come out in each series, sometimes they do look like a different animal. And the quarterback's very capable of getting the ball to anybody. They got good receivers. So it's going to be a big challenge for us. I think it's going to be one of the tougher defensive games.
You very familiar with Skip Holtz?
I know him very well.
Yeah.
He was at Carolina when I was at Clemson a long time ago. And don't know him extremely well, but I certainly know him. Does a great job.
Ellis, did you guys come out Thursday pretty healthy on defense?
I think we're in good shape. We had some bangs and bruises, that kind of thing. We don't have anybody out right now.
Yeah,
Thanks, Coach.
Good.
That will be